Hey guys, I'm back again with another Proton Pack video. This one's going to be a little bit different. Today I wanted to talk about some of the questions that I get when I'm wearing my pack out. Most common one I get is, where did you get that? And so I'll tell them that I bought the parts online from different sellers and put it together. And then a lot of times the next question is going to be, well, how much does something like that cost? And that's not an easy question to answer because there's not just a flat number to be able to give people, because it's based on how accurate and detailed you want to be. If you want to replicate a certain movie pack or just one from one movie versus the other, if you want to use aluminum parts for accuracy, or if you're good with using resin parts, which are going to be lighter weight, you have to make some of those decisions, and that changes the price on how much things cost. But there's kind of a general ballpark, and we'll go into that because I've made a spreadsheet that kind of shows what the going rate is on a lot of these parts current day, and you'll be able to go in and see how much you need to budget if this is something that you're interested in doing in the future. So let me go in and show you on this computer right here. I've got some websites pulled up. The main one you're going to want to know about is gbfans.com. If you'll go to the shop here at the top menu, scroll down a little bit under this Proton pack and click Pack Parts. There's subcategories, but you can scroll the whole page. There's 6 pages of parts on here, anything from big parts like the shell to small parts like little wires. So everything in between pretty much is on there. There are a few parts that aren't there, but it's as close as you can get to one-stop shopping for a Proton pack. Prices are fair. I've been on there many times, bought lots of parts, and things are mostly in stock. Shipping is fair and usually pretty fast, and never had any problems with the site there. But I want to show you some other options as well. If you go to this spot over here where it says Forum, scroll all the way towards the bottom, there's going to be a spot that says Classifieds. You're going to have to be a member of the site, which is free. So you can register and then go here where it says For Sale. And then there's going to be all these sellers on here that have their parts listed and things that they offer for sale. So they could be pack parts. Some of them specialize in just like aluminum parts or resin parts, or things for your uniform, lights, sounds, electronics. That's the cool thing about the community, is certain people kind of take things that they're good at making, offering them to the community, and then you can just kind of pick and choose which sellers you want to buy from. I do want to point out here at the top, it's got blacklisted sellers listed there, and go through that. If you're interested in buying a pack, read through that, just so it will help you to not get tripped up by people who are trying to shortchange you or give you a product that's not up to snuff. You'll see some of the common eBay sellers on there. I'm not going to click through it because I don't want to cause any controversy on my video, but you'll see on there people who to avoid, and it gives good reasons on there for why people have had bad experiences and why they're on the blacklisted sellers list. It's not just because anybody's being mean, it's because they've earned a certain reputation, and it's trying to be fair to everybody that's trying to make a good decision and buy parts, that they're not going to get tripped up by somebody who's trying to swindle them. A few of the good sellers I'm going to show here today. One here, both of these are going to be aluminum sellers that I'm going to show you. CPU 64, he's got this awesome proton gun, wand, thrower, whatever you want to call it, and some other parts as well. Some of them are parts you can also get on the shop. comparative prices. And then another one here is EJ Gumpf 87, and he has parts as well that are good, aluminum parts, as well as a few other things on there. So I've made a spreadsheet, and what it does is compares gbfans.com to those two sellers. There's more sellers out there. It's not just those two. Do your research, look around. You might find some better deals than what I have on here, but I just kind of wanted to give a ballpark estimate on how much stuff costs, and I wanted to have more than just one seller listed on there. So I've got these just to compare, to kind of give you an idea. What I'm going to do is kind of just go through this list one by one and show you on my pack where these parts are, what the parts are, and we'll go through the list and kind of see what things cost. The first thing I'm going to point out is the fiberglass shell. So that's the main body of the pack, the hollow part of it. You've seen me take it off if you've seen my other videos and seen the inside of the fiberglass shell. That one on the website is $299.99, so let's call it $300. And a comparable one that some sellers or buyers think is better is the Pickers Bosch 1 shell. That'll run about $400, and that one comes in limited runs, so it's not always available, and you're gonna have a better opportunity to buy a GB Fans shell whenever you want, whenever you're ready to make a purchase. There is a little bit of lead time usually, but it's gonna be pretty quick after you've decided to make your purchase. So about $300 for that. The next one on the list is the aluminum motherboard. That'll be about $50. That's the metal part that the shell is mounted on, and then it's mounted by these mounting brackets, which will run you anywhere from $20 to $30 depending on who you buy from. And that's what these hook into. So there's 4 brackets. It mounts to the back of the shell. It's an L shape, L brackets, and these screws screw into it. So there's 2 on either side, and then 2 at the top. So one over here and then one on the opposite side, and that's where it mounts the shell to the pack. So that's just getting your shell, your motherboard, and your pack connected together with those brackets. The next thing on the list is the metal V-hook. I call it a V-hook because it's got this bracket that hooks on the back of the thrower. Let me switch this over real quick, and you'll see this part right here, the V-shaped V-hook, and then it mounts on this black square base here, also metal, and then that'll run you about $60 down to $40 depending on who you buy from. The next thing on the list is the Resin Bumper. The bumper is the part that goes across the shell. This is the cyclotron, so the bumper goes across it. This doesn't count as part of it, that's a different part, but this is the bumper, so that'll run you about $60. Next on the list is the Clippard R331. That's going to be this real part. This is a real pneumatic fitting, and you can get resin copies of them. They'll look just the same. You paint them up, put a sticker on it, you're good to go. Mine's a real one. A real one will run you about $40. The resin booster frame is what runs on the booster tube. It's also called a ladder frame. Right there, that'll be about $15. The colored tubing, all the yellow, blue, red tubing. There's green on the thrower. You can get all that for $9. The 1/4 inch split wire loom is what runs from here to up here. That's gonna cost you a whole $1. And then the 3/4 inch splitless wire loom is what connects the pack right here to the thrower over there. The ones on the real packs have a split on them. I've had a split loom on there before. It's really noisy because these ridges rub together on the split, and it just it gets kinked up. So a lot of people prefer having the one with the without the split on it, and it kind of holds the wires in better, doesn't make as much noise, and I prefer it, even though it's not as accurate. Next on the list is Clippard brass elbows. There's 3 of them on the pack. You'll see one at the top right here, number 2, and that connects to number 3 right there. So you buy 3 of those, you're spending $12 for the set of 3. Clippard hose barbs. I've got 5 on my pack. You can get away with just having 2. 2 of them hold in the green cable over there, but I've got 3 more as well. One to hold the wire into the PPD right here, and then 2 coming out of the injector tubes. They're covered up right there, but they're there. It helps to keep those from coming out. So if you buy 5 of them like I did, you're spending $12.50. Legris elbow replica kit. They don't really make these anymore, the real ones, and so most people's are going to be replicas. If you buy the vintage ones, you're paying a lot of money. 25 bucks. Will buy you what you need to connect this wire and this one over here. I don't know if mine are the ones that are $25. Mine might be the SMC version. They connect to the Legris straight fittings. They're also replicas where these wires hook in right here. Those are the straights. So a couple of those, $30 is what they sell for on GB Fans for 2, so 15 a piece. You're gonna have some resistors on your pack on the ion arm. Those are gonna be up here. There's one here, and then one right here, and then the small one on this side. So depending on which ones you get, the P25 or PH25 is $25, and then the RH50 is $15. So this is the one that's 25. This is the one that's 15. This one you're gonna have a choice on, so we'll get to that in a minute. But that one's gonna run anywhere from $5 to $15. The ribbon cable clamp is gonna be anywhere from $12 to $15. That's what it's gonna hold this colorful cable in. And then the P clamp is gonna be about $3 or $4. $3.49 is what it sells for on the shop. That connects to the ladder frame and holds the ribbon cable in place. Your lenses, your power cell lens and your cyclotron lenses, $5 and $12 each. Cyclotron lenses are $3 a piece, so I put them down as you're buying all 4 for $12. So your cyclotron is going to be these red lights here. So these lenses, and then there's the blue lens right here. This is the power cell. And then metallic vinyl labels, you can buy those for $35. So all the different labels that you'll see on the pack, different places, you can buy them also that are going to be more high quality actual metal parts that are going to be a little bit more expensive, but you can buy that whole set for $35. That's a good deal. And then one thing you can't get from the GB Fans site that I also added on this part of the list is going to be the Instevico 1 XLR plate and battery wiring kit that I bought, and I've been showing you guys. So that's my on and off switch and my charging plate and all that stuff, and then it's all wired into the electronics of the pack. So that's $90. So I totaled up the GB fan's part of all of that. So if you just wanted to do one-stop shopping, not counting the XLR plate, that's running you $765 for that part. That category of the standard items. Now we're going to go down to electronics. I just took what was on the GB fan site, so I don't have anything to compare to that. So the battery pack, the soundboard, the power cell and cyclotron lights, the wand light kit that runs all the way from the inside there, and the connector cable that goes all the way inside, the speaker, and then you can also buy a little rumble motor if you're interested in doing that. Mine doesn't have it, but it's $4, and it's something you can put in there to kind of give your thrower kind of a little shake, kind of like a video game controller does. So not bad for $4 if that's what you want to do. So for electronics, you're going to spend about $265 for electronics if you want all of that. If you want to start building your pack and put your electronics in later, that's a good way to save 260 something bucks, and just plan on doing that the next time you're ready to upgrade your pack. So that's that. Now we're going to get into kind of the area where you're going to make some decisions. Aluminum versus resin parts. On the left column where it says aluminum, that's GB fans, aluminum parts. The one next to it says resin/ABS. That's going to be GB fans parts that are resin or plastic of some sort. And then the two other sellers that I compared to. By the way, everything that's highlighted yellow, that's the cheapest that you're going to see it on my list. So if you've seen the yellow and the white, that's what those mean on there. So the first one is, I'm going to go over here, is the ion arm. Ion arm right here. So mine is aluminum. That'll run you anywhere from $40 to $65 for aluminum. If you want a resin one, you can pay $30 for it. The booster tube and the plug. So the booster tube is what this ladder frame hooks onto. So it runs all the way from here, all the way up to the top here. And there's a plug that sits in the top of that. So it's just a big cylindrical piece there. That'll run you anywhere from $55 to $60 for aluminum. You can get it for as low as $20 on the GB fan site for the ABS version with the resin plug. So that's not a bad choice to make right there. Save you $40. Injector tubes. These are the injector tubes right here. That'll run you $40 to $50 for the metal version. If you want the resin version, then that'll be $30. The Beamline and the filler tube are going to be these two parts. The Beamline is the one that has the Clippard barb in it, not the barb, but the elbow in it. And the filler tube is this one right here. They're roughly the same length. This one's mounted higher, so it looks longer, but it's not. Those are cheaper, so you're going to find those for $15, $20, $25 for those. If you want the resin copies of those, then they're $10 a piece. And for these, on the ones where they're just tubes, if you just wanted to get PVC and cap them off, you can get that for even way cheaper. And I've done that before on a previous pack. So you could do PVC, or you could just do wooden dowels and put those on there if you have the right size. Then cut them to size and then just slap them on there, and they look just as good. So those are options as well. Metal bellows, you'll see this part right here called the ion knob or the shock mount, or just call it bellows or whatever. Then they sell it on the site for $50, or you can get a plastic version of it for $30. Those are the only two options I have right now on my list. The PPD is a small little part here. It's got the angled part at the top. that these wire goes into. Most of them are going to be metal with resin filling the inside of it so that you can run your cable into it. So small part, so that's going to be between 15 and 20 for your metal version, or if you want to get the resin, then it's going to be $10. The HGA, don't ask me what all these abbreviations stand for. There's a way to look them up, but I just call them whatever the abbreviation is. Let me flip this over. I want the red label on it right here. That's your HGA. It's got a couple of things poking out of the air. These screws on the end of it. And a previous cheapo pack that I built the first time around, mine was a cap to a can of spray paint, and that did the trick. But if you want a metal HGA, you're going to pay anywhere from $30 to $40 for it. The resin one could cost you $20. The vacuum line is going to be right here above the Clippard. There's a line that goes in here. It's got a metal base that goes around, and this is welded into it. That's going to be about $20 for your metal version, or $10 for resin. The gun track on the thrower, this part that runs from here all the way down to here. That's your gun track. You can see a good version of the side of it there. $50 is pretty much the going rate for aluminum, $20 for the resin version. The crank knob, this is your crank knob. You can get a resin one for $10, or you can buy the real thing for $25. It's not aluminum, but I just put it on the list there for the real version of it that you're going to pay more for. And then the infilter. The infilter is this part right here. Mine was molded into the shell, so some people, even if they're molded in, they'll cut it out and put the actual aluminum part on there. I decided not to on mine, and saved $40 in the process, or $35 by not altering mine and just leaving it the way it is. I'm happy with that. So, but if you were going to buy all of the parts as resin, you're only going to pay $200. If you're going to spend the money on the aluminum, you're going to spend about $265 more if you just buy it from the GB Fan shop. If you wanted to pay for the cheapest version of each one of the metal ones on there, then you can get down to about $395 for the best prices on the aluminum. So you're paying about twice as much, at least, for aluminum versus resin on those, if you were to buy the infilter. But either way, yeah, it's still about 2 to 1 from resin to aluminum, and aluminum weighs a little bit more too, so you'll notice a little bit more weight on your pack. They're more robust. They're gonna hold up a little bit more to the abuse of having it bump into things, whereas resin can crack and break. But as far as appearances, it's kind of a negligible difference there. So if you want to pay the money and get the really high dollar stuff, go for it. I mean, that's what I've chosen to do on mine. Now we're going to talk about movie variations, things that you can change on how your pack is characterized based on the parts that you have for it. The first one's going to be your Alice pack frame. You've seen mine before. I've painted mine. This frame right here, mine's a Ghostbusters 2 version, so it's the LC2. If you get the LC1 frame from Ghostbusters 1, that'll cost you about $10 more if you buy it on the site. Again, these two, all I have is the GB Fan site numbers pulled up. Ion arm end cap. So I showed you the ion arm over here. This brass rod and end cap that goes on top of it. Mine is a Ghostbusters 2 version because it does not have a metal barb or elbow sticking out of it. Ghostbusters 1, instead of having this elbow here, it actually is mounted to the end cap, and that's where that wire mounts. So if you're going to have the Ghostbusters 1 version, you're going to pay $40. If you have Ghostbusters 2, it's $30. Ribbon cable, this is a big money saver if you're going to go Ghostbusters 2. This is Ghostbusters 2 ribbon cable. The Ghostbusters 1 ribbon cable is $50. This one will run you only about $15. And then I talked earlier about the resistors, between $5 and $15 for the small resistor. I've got the Pacific one, which is the same one that's on the Harold Ramis Spengler pack, and that one, this one's $5. If you get the other Dale version or the Sage version, then that one's going to be $15. So, and the Pacific one is a Ghostbusters 2 version. So you can see the difference there. If you get all Ghostbusters 2, you're paying about $90. If you get all Ghostbusters 1, then you're paying about $155. So a $65 difference there in price, depending on which movie you're trying to go for. Getting towards the end of the list here, so almost done. The wand parts. So I'm gonna just get the big old pack out of the way. Talk about wand slash thrower slash proton gun, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to start at the bottom of the list on this one. You can't buy the thrower or the gun body, which is going to be the main box, the handle that comes off of it, and this part of it as well that comes out the front. Not for sale on GB Fans, but you can buy it from CPU 64 for $200. And then the trigger box and instrument bar combo is what's on the back here and here. That's your instrument bar and your trigger box. So that's anywhere from $40 to $50. So roughly $250 for those, and the rest of the parts on the wand is going to cost you about $300. So a good aluminum thrower is going to be $550, roughly. There's a few places where you can save $5-10, but for the most part, that's what's going to cost you to have a good aluminum one. The heat sink is this part right here. Get the light on it there, $20. The trigger tip is this little area right here. That's going to be $15. The front cylinder is this metal part right here. Just a random cylinder, $15. The rear cylinder is going to be anywhere from $35 to $45. That's this part where the Clippard barb hooks into it, and then it mounts to the back of your instrument bar above your gun track. All the knobs, so the front knob, side disc, side knobs, top knobs, you're going to pay about $50 for all the knobs. So all these, this over here, these little side knobs, these side discs over here, about $50 for the set. Again, this one's got a Clippard valve on it. This one's going to be the R701. That one's about $35. The tubing that comes out, the clear part where it lights up when it shoots, is $15 for the frosted tube. The LED clip lights are going to be these little parts, $250 for those. There's a couple of different places for those. Orange hat lights, I got one right here. You're also going to have some white hat lights on there as well, one on the exterior and one that comes from the bottom up right here. There's newer, more accurate versions of the white ones that are out now. They're like $12 a piece, so $24 for those. And then the orange one, $8. The banjo fitting replicas, that's where this red wire hooks into these metal parts. Those are replica legless banjos. So a set of 2 of those is $40. And like I said, everything all together is going to be about $5.50 for the thrower. So made a list here at the bottom, kind of comparing everything. GB fans only, this is what you'd pay if you just went through the shop and bought everything from there, not counting the aluminum versus the resin, because I compared those prices here. The gun body, trigger box, and instrument bar, and XLR plate. Since those aren't for sale in the shop, I included a different line item for that. The wand parts, not counting the gun body and all that, is going to be right here. Ghostbusters 1 versus Ghostbusters 2 prices, and then your electronics if you wanted to do that separately. Then I got different ones down here where we compare it to if we just wanted to go for the lowest prices of each, in each of those categories as well. And then I made a couple little charts over here. So if you want a Ghostbusters 1 pack with aluminum, buying most of your parts from GB fans, having electronics in it and everything, here's where we're looking at overall prices. So about $2,300 for that. If you wanted to go with aluminum, from most stuff from GB fans, and a Ghostbusters 2 pack, $2,219. Ghostbusters 1 with resin parts from GB fans is going to be about $2,019. If you went with resin, Ghostbusters 2 parts, mostly from GB fans, it's going to be $1,954. Now, if you went for the lowest options of everything, instead of just buying everything from GhostbustersFans.com, Ghostbusters 1 pack with aluminum, you're looking at $2,161. With resin, you're looking at $1,966. A Ghostbusters 2 pack with aluminum is going to be $2,096, and then a Ghostbusters 2 pack with resin is going to be about $1,900. So that's roughly what you're looking at. Anywhere from $1,900 to $2,300 is what you need to budget. It sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money if you buy it all at once. Most people don't buy them all at once. A lot of people buy parts as they can, $30 here, $50 here, save up, buy a shell, save up, buy a thrower, and then put it together as they go and upgrade parts as they go. So mine took about 5 years to get it from roughly a pack that was, first it was foam board based, and then it was wooden based, and then I bought the shell, and then I put the electronics in it, and then I got a metal thrower. I upgraded over about a 5-year period. So about, if you look and do the math between, let's say, a $2,000 pack, and you spend 5 years on it, so about $2,000 into 60 months, you're only looking at like $31, something like that, $30 to $35. So if you can budget $35 a month, then 5 years sounds like a long time. You can budget more than that and have it quicker, but a lot of people take their time and take their builds as they go, and you don't just have to write the check for $2,000 unless you want to, and that's possible as well. I went over here on sheet 2 and just go over this real quick. I put a list of the things that I got for my pack just to compare, and then put who I bought it from if I remembered. I went through a lot of receipts and emails just to see what I paid versus what is out there now. And some of these sellers don't sell anymore, and so I'm really not going to go deep into them. If I didn't remember, then I just basically put what the price is on GB Fans now. And you can always pause the video and look here if you're interested. But my rough total was $1,881. None of this counts shipping costs. You got to pay for paint. You got to pay for some screws and bolts and things that you're not going to think about until later. That stuff isn't factored into the cost of this as well, so that can add up too. But just as a good ballpark, you're looking anywhere from 1,800 to 2,300 if you're gonna try to get a pack that is somewhat movie accurate. And you can be a proton pack wielding Ghostbuster without having to have a super accurate pack. Like I said, mine was made of wood for a time. It was made of foam board that you can get from a craft store and just cut to pieces and glued together, and that'll do the trick. And you can do that for a whole lot less, but this is something that I decided that I wanted to be my hobby. I wanted to spend my money on. And some people spend their money on cars or sports tickets or who knows what else. You know, people have their hobbies and things they like to spend their money on. This is where I decided to save up and spend mine. So hopefully that'll help some of you guys that are interested in taking up the hobby, and hope that encourages you to kind of have an idea of what it's going to cost, save your money, have an idea of where to go buy the parts, and kind of know where to check that blacklist again, like I said, so you don't get caught up with somebody who's not going to treat you right. So very long video. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, then I really appreciate you sticking out. And if you have any questions, or if I forgot anything on my list, please put it in the comments so that we can go back over it later, or I can add it to my list. And but again, I just want to say thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos in the future. Have a good one.